All right, number 3. What is the date of the first time someone viewed one of Sarah's movies? All right, so now things are getting a little trickier. We can actually look that value up. If I go to the viewings table, I can actually take a look at the data here and see that the date that I expect is this right here, 2013. Or no, that's not right. There's a 2007 in there somewhere. I thought. Oh, is it not showing it to me? Are there too many rows? There's too many rows. Yeah, sorry. It only shows you 25 rows, so that's my bad. 2007. Yeah, my fault. Sorry. 2007. Okay. So I need to write a query to pull that out. So I know I'm going to need a select, and I know I'm going to need a from, and I actually even know the table is going to be viewings. So we can start that. But let's talk about this select. How do I get that date out? Date viewed, but I want the minimum. Yeah, date viewed. So I'm going to say min. Date viewed. Like that. This is an aggregate. Min is an aggregate. So if I hit that, and there's that 2007 date. There we go, that worked. That worked. Cool. What was that, number 3? All right. How many movies in her collection were directed by people born in the USA? All right, this one is getting a little bit trickier still, but we can figure it out. So I want to know how many movies. So the answer to this should just be a number, right? Should just be a number. So I'm going to use, what did you say? Count. And let me give you a little tip. I saw a few people attempting this one who would put the name of a column in here. And I don't think that's necessarily wrong. But 99% of the time, you just want a star in there. It doesn't matter which column you're counting. Just stick a star in there and move on with your day. There are exceptions to that rule, but 99% of the time, count star will get the job done. So the question now is, how do I make sure to get the proper count? Where is this data coming from? So I definitely need directors. Is that all? So I heard from directors where country equals USA. Are we good? I want to know how many movies. Were directed. So this will tell me how many directors are from the USA, but that's a different question. I want to know how many movies were made by directors from the USA. So if I want to know that, what do I have to do? I got to join. I got to join the movies table. And so, we need to be careful about how we perform that join, right? Join movies, and then I have to know what association to make between those two tables, right? And so I can look at the columns. If it's a well-formatted database, which this one is, you can see that there's a director ID here and a director ID here, so that's probably going to be the column that I use to join. So directors.movie ID equals movies. I'm sorry, director ID. My fault. Said one thing and did a different thing. Okay, let's give it a shot. 6, it says 6. Now we could actually verify that if we wanted to. I could look at the directors here and see how many there are from the USA. So I've got 3, it's 6, 7, and 8 are my directors. So now if I go to the movies table and look at that data, I'm looking for director ID with 6, 7, or 8. So 1, 2, 3. Oh wait, that's movie ID, sorry, wrong column. 6, 7, or 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 movies have a 6, 7, or 8 as the director ID. So that seems good. That seems good. Any questions so far? Okay. What are the titles of the movies in her collection that were directed by this person, Akira Kurosawa? This is actually a similar one that we did on Monday, I feel like. We did a similar one to this on Monday, right? But we can go ahead and do it. So, I'm zoomed in too far here, I feel like. I don't know. All right. So I know I'm going to need a select and a from. And I know that the thing that I want to select is the title. So then now I just have to worry about the from, right? So from movies. Is that all? I gotta get the directors in there because I need to look up the name of the director that I care about, right? So I shouldn't have deleted my last query because this is the exact same join from before. What else? What else? I need a where clause. Where last equals Kurosawa? Did I spell that right? Kuro. Thank you. You could put the first name in there too if you wanted as well. That would be okay. I think this will get us there too. 3 movies. 3 movies. Cool. All right, we are moving right along. We just did number 5. We're halfway there. We got 5 more to go. How many times has the movie Talk to Me been viewed? And so now we actually need to use the viewing table. We actually haven't had to touch that one yet. So, I could actually go, if I wanted to solve this manually, I could look in the movies table and find Talk to Me and see that it's got a movie ID of 14. And then I would need to go into the viewings table, right? And see how many times that number 14 shows up in the viewings table, correct? So I could actually count that up and see, but we're interested in how to do that in code. So what am I going to need to pull this off? I know I need a select and a from. Do I need any other clauses? So I need a count. I've definitely got a count, and as usual, count star is fine. I know that I need more than one table, right? We just talked about that. So I need the movies table, and I need the viewings table, and the link between those 2 tables is the movie ID. So anything else? I need a where clause because I'm looking for a specific movie, right? So where title equals Talk to Me. Me. All right, cool, thank you. And twice, it seems. You could go back and verify again by counting how many times the movie ID shows up in that table. I'm pretty confident in this query, though. I think it's a good one. We are now on number 7. When was the last time someone viewed one of our movies? This is actually very similar to what is the date of the first time. In fact, the queries are going to look almost identical. What's the difference? It's the difference between a min and a max, right? This one is a min, this one is a max. You could take the exact same query you wrote for number 3, switch the min to a max, and get the answer to number 7, right? Number 8 is somewhat controversial. We can take a look at it, though. It's tricky, actually, I think. What is the ID of the last viewed movie? So it depends on how you want to approach this problem a little bit, I think. Yeah. So you look at this, you think last viewed movie, right? And that I can certainly understand that your brain would go to the max, because that's actually how we did it for number 7, right? We used max, and I certainly can see that. There's another way, though, and I think it's important to realize that it might be worthwhile to think of a different way to solve this problem, because we're not actually asking for the last date in our answer. We're just asking for the movie ID in our answer, right? If I wanted the last date to be included in my answer, then using max, I think makes a lot of sense. But I'm not actually asking for that value in my answer. I'm just asking for the movie ID. So I think there's another way that we can approach this problem. There may also be a way that you can solve this problem using max. Actually, I would not be surprised if you came up with an answer that used max here. But I'm going to walk you through how I would think about this problem. So I want to select the movie ID. The table that I'm pulling it from is going to be the viewings table, and I don't think I need a join. But now I need to figure out how to take that date into account, because this is not touching the date at all right now. And so the way I see this is I can actually do an order by on the dates, on the date viewed. It needs to be descending, so that the most recent one would be at the top. And so actually, I can run this query. This is a properly formed query. I can show you what this will look like. I get a list of movie IDs, and actually the one that I want is this one at the top. And if you gave me this answer, I actually would have been fine with it. I would have been perfectly happy. If you got this far, I would have been totally okay with that. Some people, though, were saying, how do I just get this one and not all of these extra ones? And there is a way to do that. I know some of you know. We can stick a limit on the end, limit 1, and that will chop off all of the results after the first one. Did anybody solve this using max? I know you did, but that was controversial. It gave you the wrong answer, yeah. Anybody, did you solve it using max? Yeah? I'm sorry? Which number is it? 7, yeah, 7. I'm sorry? Put the max in the where clause? You cannot, but you can put the max in a different clause. You can put it in having. You put it in having. So that was one possible solution that I saw floated by a couple people. I believe that there's a way to do it using max, but this answer works too. This answer works perfectly well. Let's see, we got just a few more. 9 and 10, actually. What is the title of the first movie she loaned to a friend for viewing? Okay. I want to know the title of the first movie she loaned to a friend. So this actually feels kind of similar to the problem we just solved, does it not? So I'm going to get the title of the first movie, but I think the biggest difference, I don't want the movie ID now, right? I want the title. So that means I need to do what? I need the movies table, which means I'm going to need a join, right? I believe. Movies on viewings.movieid equals movies.movieid. And then actually we're almost done. What do I need to do? Yeah, just take this out. It'll sort it in the opposite direction, which should give me the earlier movies first, not the later ones. So this should, an angel at my table should, and if I want to verify that, I could go into the viewings table, find the earliest date, look at the movie ID, and then go look that movie ID up in the movies table and see if it gives me this value. I actually trust that it would, but if you don't believe me, go double check it and see for yourself. One more to go. What is the first and last name of the person who viewed the last viewed movie? This is actually pretty similar to what we just did, right? Pretty similar. So I want to get the first and last name of a person now. Not the title, but first and last. And so from directors or from viewers? From viewers. And so what's the relation? We haven't actually used this viewers table yet, right? What's the relationship between viewings and viewers? Viewer ID on viewings.viewerid equals viewers.viewerid. And it wants the last movie, so that would be ordered by descending again, correct? And so, oh, our good friend Luigi. I believe that was all 10, although let me finish with just one quick thing, since I mentioned this last week, right? We talked about the order of doing things here, and I mentioned that it doesn't matter, so I can prove that to you, and maybe you did this today. I kind of hope you did. I can switch the order of those two tables, right? And try again. Doesn't matter, still get the same thing. I can switch the order of which way I do these equalities as well, right? Also does not make a difference in terms of what answer I get back out for an inner join, right? For an inner join, it doesn't matter. For an outer join, that kind of stuff does matter. But for an inner join, the order that you put these things in here doesn't make a difference. Any questions? There were some bonus ones on there. Those are a little bit tricky. I know some people actually figured those out. If you want to talk about those, I'd be happy to have a discussion with you on Slack or in person or whatever is convenient for you. But I'm gonna stop here unless anybody has any questions or comments. All right, have a good weekend, everybody. I'll see you back here next week, and we're gonna get started on Flick List again. See you then.